Hi guys, this is M1a1, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at rifles. There are 4 different weapons that uses the rifle ammunition, and those are the ones we'll be focusing on, even though some of you guys might be reacting over the fact that the weapon I'm using right now, the M1a1, is actually a carbine. And without trying to pretend that I'm some kind of weapons expert, a carbine is basically a rifle with a shortened barrel. There are 4 weapons in Firestorm that uses the rifle ammo. This is the standard version of the M1a1 Carbine. It has an iron sight and only 15 bullets in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. Now, the weapon that you saw in the first clip was the BFV 43. Both the BFV 43 and the Carbine are semi-automatic weapons, while the other 2 weapons that uses rifle ammo are both fully automatic. One of them is the STG 44 and the other one is the Sturmgewehr 1.5. Rifles are definitely among my favorite weapons in Firestorm, and it's actually the only type of weapon that I can use either as my medium or long range alternative, and in some weapons combinations as my close range alternative. For the most part, when I play Firestorm, I try to avoid having 2 weapons that uses the same type of ammo, and I try to keep that as a rule of thumb. But if I ever break that rule of thumb, it's definitely 2 assault rifles that are my go-to choice, as long as I'm not too worried about running out of ammo. Now, with the STG-44, the most noticeable difference you see with the 3 different versions is that the standard one has an iron sight, the level 2 one has this one-time and for some annoying reason tinted reflex sight. And once you get the epic version, you get the 3-time magnification that you have on a few sniper rifles and also the BFV 43. The scope is called CH4. And it definitely makes this weapon a lot better at longer medium range, mainly because of the visibility of the scope, but also because you aim down sight a little bit faster, and the reduced recoil that you have with the rare version is there in the epic version as well. Now, the Sturmgewehr is a little bit more of a close-quarter weapon, and depending on my weapons combination, I normally try to use this weapon as my close-range option. However, depending on the stage of the game, it is more or less likely that you're going to end up in situations where you have to shoot at range. And one of those situations where you probably don't have to shoot that much at range is in the very end game. Obviously, it's different from each individual situation. I just base this on my overall experience that as of now I have I think 33 wins, about 1,200 kills. And I find that in almost all endgame situations, I end up in either close range or medium range engagements. And even if there are plenty of exceptions to that, this is one of them actually where I could have used the sniper to shoot the guy basically on the other side of that little road here. If I would have had a weapon that is really good at that kind of range, most likely would my opponent just stay behind cover until we were forced into a closer range situation anyway. Basically the same way that I do hiding behind this rock, since I don't have a sniper, LMG or BFV 43 for example. Ah, there he is. So yeah, basically what I'm doing here is what I've seen a lot of people do against me when I've tried to take the engagement at range. Basically you just wear down each other's plates, and for the most part it ends up being a drawn out fight where both players wait until you're forced to get closer. Here I decide to move in when the other 2 players are shooting one another. Whoa! Yeah, I know there's a lot of Battlefield players who doesn't really like Battle Royale games, but the end game, it is always really, really exciting. Now, one of the reasons why I don't like to have two weapons using assault rifle is because I'd rather have an SMG for the close range. That is because it has so much better hip fire. This is a very bad engagement for the STG-44. See, I actually thought that guy was gone already, which is why I switched to the STG. Had I known, or at least suspected, that he was that close, I would have taken that engagement with the Sten. So yeah, here we have a little bit of inventory management and looting. I'm trying to make sure that I have over 150 bullets for both my SMG and my assault rifle. Not that I really need that much ammo, but I do pick it up because if I decide to replace the SMG with another assault rifle, or the other way around, I want to make sure that I have enough ammo to maintain two weapons using the same ammo type. Now, the reason for that is that if I end up in a situation where I can choose another level 3 SMG and replace my STG with that, for example, I might actually do that if I believe that the end game is going to end up in, for example, an area where there's a lot of houses, and therefore it's more likely that it's going to be very close range engagements where hipfire is going to be the best choice. If I, on the other hand, end up in a situation where there's a lot of open areas and I do have the option to pick up another assault rifle that might be better for that than the Sten, then I want to have enough ammo for that also. I don't necessarily make a big deal out of this, but if I have the possibility to give myself the option, then I want to do that. Here you'll see how good a flare can be. Now, my favorite weapon among these four is probably the STG-44. At the same time, my least favorite weapon is actually the Carbine, and it's not because of the weapon itself, but simply because of the tint on the one-time reflex sight. It is extremely annoying that they have it in the game, and it's even more so annoying on that particular weapon. I'll never understand decisions made by DICE. I mean, they've heard all this drama about the bad visibility, and then on top of everything about the game, they still maintain this tint on the reflex sights. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And what is worse is that it becomes even worse when you look at the 2x scopes. I barely ever use them, and unfortunately I don't have any material to show you here, but the 2x scope that you have on a couple of different sniper rifles and also on the Gewehr 43 is just horrible. And again, it's horrible for the same reason. Really bad visibility. Anyway, I hope you will enjoy the last few minutes of this video. There's going to be 2 more wins and a few more mixed moments. Thanks for watching. There we go. Oh shit. Exciting now, guys. That feels good.